Have you ever had that feeling when shopping for a bike that everything is so expensive? What if I told you that you can have a bike that rides nearly as fast as a modern superbike, but only for a fraction of the price?
Hi, my name is Tom. Welcome to the Greasy Chain.
This is my Scott foil, which I bought new 13 years ago. At the time, it was state of the art, the equivalent of a modern day superbike. I bought this as a present to myself, and I naively thought that this was going to be my forever bike and that it would hold its value. Well, yeah, spoiler alert, it didn't. Anyway, let's not talk about that. I bought it at the time for under 3 grand, under 3,000 euros. But today, you can find a good second-hand example for about 1,000 euros. Of course, it came with rim brakes, but the best thing about this bike is that back in 2012 or 2013 in my case, it came with Shimano Di2 electronic shifting. How cool is that? It was insane back then. I couldn't believe it. And it's probably what made me buy the bike in the first place. Listen to that noise. Let me play that again. I'm very happy to report that it's been extremely reliable. And it's probably also one of the reasons why I kept the bike so long. This is the first generation of the Shimano Di2, so it doesn't pack as many features as the most recent systems, but it shifts gears perfectly and in all conditions. Now, you must have noticed that this bike doesn't look anything like when it was brand new. I've done quite a few modifications to it. I think you can call this a Frankenbike now. The most obvious modification I did to this bike was to swap the front fork so that I could install a disc brake. But I'll explain that in more details in a separate video. For now, let me explain quickly why I did that. So I did this for 2 reasons. First, the tire clearance was way too narrow on the original fork, and I wanted to fit wider tires to tackle the cobbled hills of Flanders. Second, I have to admit that the original brakes were seriously lacking in performance, especially with carbon rims. So I changed that by installing a cable hydraulic disc brake. It's been absolutely fantastic. It completely transformed the bike. It really makes a big difference in braking power. So now let's back up for a second and sum up the features of this bike. Carbon fiber frame, check. Carbon fiber wheels, check. Wide performance tires, check. Excellent stopping power, check. Electronic gear shifting, check. The looks, well, maybe not the looks of a superbike, but I think it's quite interesting, but that's very personal. So let me know what you think in the comments. So what's left for me to review? First, the budget. Count about 1,000 euros for the original bike on the second-hand market. Then add to that between 1,000 and 1,500 euros for parts, including carbon wheels and a new carbon fork. You end up with a total of 2,000 or 2,500 euros. So we're talking here really mid-range bike budget, but that gets you nearly the same performance as a superbike.
Now, just a quick word. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. It will really help. Thanks. Right. And now, the moment of truth. It's time to weigh this bike. $7.6 kilos. 7.6 kilos. Well, I think that's pretty good, but let me know what you think in the comments.
Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in another video soon.